Alrighty, so there's one more detail I wanted to tell you before I kick up my feet and call it a day. And actually, this might be one of the most vital lessons you learn about what things impact your truck insurance. This piece of information has been detrimental to companies in my career. In other words, when this happens to trucking companies, it can absolutely kill that company. They might become uninsurable. There's always insurance companies that are willing to step in for a price, right? So no one's really uninsurable, but let's face it, if you're having to pay $40,000 or $50,000 a year for truck insurance just because of this or that, you're uninsurable at that point. What is it, right? What is it that would cause this to happen? It's not just a normal claim because people go through things throughout the year. They might get into a small fender bender or cause a little accident or maybe even damage their own equipment, so they have to do a physical damage claim or comprehensive or collision claim. No, no, no. That stuff is normal. But there's something else that is also normal but becomes abnormal at a particular time in a company's life. That's when they renew. So when you're approaching a renewal and you have a claim, it can be detrimental to your company. Let me explain why. Something that I'll go over in another video is called a claims report or a loss run report. Definitely very important for you to understand what that is. And so we'll get into that. But what everybody does know is if they get into an accident, they file a claim. If there's certain issues with the cargo when it's delivered, there's a cargo claim. So the word claim is a familiar term to people. So let's focus on that. Now, what impact does a claim have if it occurs at the end of a policy term? So if you buy insurance in January, let's go back to David's trucking. David buys insurance in January. On December 5th, there is a claim. He bumps into a little minivan. There's a mom, a kid in the minivan, does a little damage to the minivan. Oh, but her neck is hurt. Oh, her baby was, whatever. So I say whatever, but I'm not talking about a big accident where we know. I'm talking about a small accident where there's kind of ambiguity in there. Call 444, all those things, where they target truckers. So this is what I'm talking about. Maybe at the end of a policy term, like David's trucking is in December, they're up for renewal in January. So they're calling around, they're asking insurance agents for a quote, and those insurance agents say, sure, let's check out your claims, your loss runs, or your losses. And it's a document. On that document, it will show open claim. Well, an insurance company that is quoting that David's Trucking won't know if it is going to be a $1 million claim or if it is going to be a $0 claim. Now, there are some terms that an insurance agent can look at, like a reserve amount set. All those things I'll kind of get into throughout this, throughout these lessons that I'm posting on YouTube. But let's focus on what the damage does when you have a small claim or even a big claim or an ambiguous claim towards the end of your policy. It's listed on a document as open. Certain insurance companies will say, you know what, just in case it's $1 million claim that gets hit on David's Trucking, we'll quote high. So, whereas if the claim was closed, let's say maybe a $500 payment to fix the minivan's bumper, or a $2,200 claim to fix the minivan's bumper, a little bit of neck damage to the mother, and some scaring the baby. So $2,200 claim, but it's closed. Well, that closed actually means they'll quote lower because there's no chance that it can be paid out to $1 million. So let's give some real number examples. If David's Trucking was approaching a renewal and he did great all year, probably would be looking to pay between $10,000 and $15,000 a year on insurance for a long haul semi trucker. And yet he bumps this minivan, and now he's looking at an open claim on his loss runs. Now that $10,000 to $15,000 quote that he should deserve is now $25,000 to $30,000. Mind you, if it was closed, maybe he'd get hit for like a $16,000 insurance policy renewal. Because, a $2,200 accident your first year in business coming up on renewal would mean there's a little bit of a risk there. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible. So what I really want you to know is that an open claim towards the end of your policy could change things significantly, depending on the way it's worded on paper. And you as a trucker almost have no say-so on how it's worded on paper. Lawyers get involved and things get a little bit crazy at that point. Here's what you can do. First off, if you get into a claim, first off, notify your insurance company. Here's the biggest piece of advice in this video. I'm glad you watched this long because you get to hear this. Notify your insurance company of an accident, but don't necessarily file a claim. Let them know you bumped into somebody, but you're going to try to handle it on your own. Give them all the information that they ask for, but let them know myself and the owner of that vehicle are in discussion right now. That should buy you some time by it not going on to your claims report. Then if you can work out a claim with that mother that you hit the minivan, that's great. Out of pocket, maybe you pay $1,500, maybe you pay $1,000. So you've kind of settled that out and they close the claim. They close the report. If you can't settle it, then you have to go back to that claim and deal with the whole process of filing a claim, getting adjusters involved, and settling the claim as per the insurance companies. Again, there's a little bit of say-so in there, but very little. So if it's going to affect you negatively, that's when it's going to happen. An open claim at the end of a policy term can be detrimental to your shopping of your insurance. So help your agents out, help yourself out, and maybe even help that mother out. Get everything squared away as quickly as possible and tell your agent or tell the adjuster, I need this closed quickly. Because if not, it is going to affect my livelihood for the next year or two. And it shouldn't if it's a small claim. So cameras go a long way in the world these days. I tell all of my clients, if you do get into an accident, bust out your own camera, start recording, and tell them, me, your insurance agent, told you to do that. Because that video will go a long way in stopping this or lengthening out the process of filing this claim for that mother who was, had a little bit of damage or slightly injured. So get it settled quickly, and if you can't, brace yourself because an open claim might mean you're stuck with the same insurance company. Now that's the good news. The same insurance company that you're with knows you're dealing with kind of a frivolous or, shady claim, and so they don't hit you over the head with the high price. They might kind of say, hey, you had a claim, it's open, but instead of $15,000, we're going to quote you at $16,000. Whereas anybody else that is competing against your current carrier doesn't look at it the same. They look at it like it might be $1 million claim. We don't know what's going on with that. Our adjusters are not working on that. Our legal team is not working on that. So we're going to charge David's Trucking $25,000 a year. So you might get stuck with your current carrier, which may or may not be all so bad. But if your current carrier deems that it's a high value claim, they too might hit you over the head with a high price. So I'm going to kick up my feet. Stay tuned to these videos. Honestly, I would appreciate it if you liked the video, if you shared the video, or you throw a comment on the video to let me know what you're thinking or how horrible I'm doing with these. But this is a new beginning for me. This is the third video in a series. Like I said, I've got a book of ideas that I've been jotting down, and these ideas come from real life situations dealing with real life truckers and how we've gotten through these things. So I have a lot more knowledge up here to provide, and hopefully that will ebb and flow throughout the year or years that I post these videos. But earlier in a video, I had my phone number above me, my email address. So if you subscribe, you'll see other videos, or you can look at my other videos. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and we'll see you on the next one.